Hello, I'm Julie. I'm very excited to be unboxing some brand new supplies sent to me from Journalsay and using some of them to make some pages in my creative journal. So let's have a little look inside this gorgeous spring box. And I do have a discount code you can use to save 8% on your order with Julie8 or out of stock notification. I wonder what that is. I probably won't be able to remember, but we'll see. Just noticed that the bubble wrap is hearts, little hearts. That's too cute. So you can see I've got ink pads because I'm getting into stamping a little bit more lately. You may have seen them advertising this stamp punch, and I use stamps quite a lot in my journals, so I'm very keen to try that out. I've got some pre-cut pet tapes and quite a few washi tapes, and then at the bottom lots and lots of sticker packs. So I'm going to unwrap all of these and then I'll be back to show you exactly what I've got. We'll start with some quirky woodland animal pre-cut pet tape. I love using animals in my spreads. And we've got bears, frogs, raccoons, owls, foxes, all sorts of really cute designs. And I believe you get 2 of each image. I love the little owls there. And I think we are back to the beginning. Now, Nellie, if you are watching, this is the one I told you about because I thought this was a tape that you would love, and it's the quirky cats. And we've got all sorts of fun images of cats. Look at that one yawning, that one in a bubble bath. And it's the same as the last one. You get 2 of each design, so plenty to play with. And they keep going for quite a while. That one is playing with a ball of wool. They are just so much fun. I'd love to see what Nellie does with these. And then we're back to the start. One thing I really like about Journalsay is they do a lot of the pre-cut tapes rather than you having to cut the images out. This one is called Magical Woodland. And I like making little scenes, and these quirky trees really appeal to me, and I thought I could pair them with the woodland animals that I just showed you. There are so many different designs, and it's always useful to have trees in your stash. And I think we are back to the start. Next we have this washi material tape that Journalsay do a lot of with the rectangular images. This one is called Fantastic World and has lots and lots of scenes from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. So you can see Mr. Tumnus there, and the beavers, and Aslan. So it's a favourite of mine. I'm not exactly sure how I will use these. It's really difficult to show these because all the images are different. So I want to take you right to the very end so you can see them all. They do have a little sheen to them, but when you peel them off, they are that thin washi material. They're not pet tape. This next one is called Floral Reading, and I have a reading journal that I started this year. So I thought all these library and reading images would work very well in that. These aren't very big images, they're 8 centimetres wide, but I like a challenge, and I got a few of these in my last Journalsay haul, so I really want to see how I can use them. Some of them I think you could make window pages with and have the images showing through. I love the ones of the girls reading. And again, no repeats, lots and lots of images that are really pretty. The other thing I like about Journalsay is they do lots of sets of things, but you can pick individually the ones you like or buy the whole set at a slightly cheaper price. So I thought that these floating blossom tapes were so pretty. I saw Nellie show them on her channel, so I'll do a quick swatch of them now. I missed this one, so there are 6 in total. They have a little sparkle on them and they all have the little puddles at the bottom. You could cut around the design and use them separately or have them as a whole. They are really, really pretty. A little tip I learnt from Nellie is rather than keep the little bit of washi that secures the tape in place, I bought some of these little elastic bands that you can put round your washi and it holds it securely. The last tape I got was this sky tape because I often ink up the sky when I'm making scenes in my journal, and I thought it might be useful to have something like this to use just for a change. I think the missing item was a washi tape because I did order a Maleficent style one that was very much like the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe one, and that's not here, so I think that will explain the item that was out of stock. But on the fairy tale theme, I also got this fairy tale collection, Beauty and the Beast. They had lots of different fairy tales, but I went with Beauty and the Beast, and it's done in a newspaper style. So you've got lots of different scenes and articles which seem to be written in a language I can't read and I don't recognise. Definitely not French, and I don't think it's German either. They're the only languages that I can read. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to use these. They're not sticky, I don't think, just papers. They are really pretty. And I bought an Archer on Olive Enchanted Chapters journal, and my plan is to do all sorts of fantasy fairy tale spreads in that. So hopefully you will see how I'll use these sometime this year. There are 20 sheets in each book and 2 of each design. The other one I got was Snow White. So let's just show the 10 designs. Don't eat the apple, it's poisoned. The Cruel Queen. Just thought the images were interesting, and I've always loved fairy stories and fantasy. So these will be fun to use. Because I like making window pages in my journal, I've been on the lookout for more windows, and this is a set of 10 pieces called The World Outside the Window, but they're not actually what I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to be card, but they are pet tape with lots of different window designs. I'll still be able to use them as windows, and I did make sure that I got 2 sets so that I can have them on both sides of the page. So we have those 5, and then these. I'm assuming they are stickers. It doesn't say on the packet, but yes, they are. They do peel away from the backing. So I will definitely have a go using those in my journal. Along the same lines, I got this light and shadow flower window. This quite excited me because these definitely are more of the card windows. So we've got these little frames, and I thought I could cut them up Well, that one's actually broken, which is a shame, but I thought I could cut them up and use them on both sides of the page. I'd only need 2. So you get 3 different styles of windows. But the special thing about this set is that they have these beautiful stained glass patterns. So if you want to make a stained glass window design on the page, you can. Looks like there's 4 different stained glass designs. Really pretty. I think there were different sets of these and you could choose different colours, and it will be no surprise to you that I chose the blue set. There's actually one more, and then you also get these little floral pieces as well. So this intrigued me, this little set. So I'm looking forward to playing with it. I really like the look of this rain shelter animals sticker set, so much that I chose 4 of the designs. They are little pet stickers and very spring themed, but super cute. I love the little fox there and the rabbit and the badger. I don't know if they're all different, and you only get 1 of each. There's a bee. Yeah, it looks like you're only going to get 1 of each, although for some reason I've got 2 of the boots. But we've got another cute little rabbit and a hedgehog. All of those sets were super cute, right up my street. What I tend to do with stickers like these is peel them off and put them in the little sticker storage books from Amazon so that you can see them all, because keeping them in these little packets you tend to lose them. Picked up just 1 of this Fairy Fantasy pet sticker pack, so let's have a look at these. There's 2 of each design. Of course, I had to get this when I saw the unicorn. Those are super adorable. I really love them. I also got a fairy tale elf sticker book, so let's look at that. You never quite know what the sticker books are going to be like. I thought these were going to be the ones where you had some clear pages and some paper, but actually it looks like it's all the pet tape material stickers. So I'll just grab a sheet so you can see them, but they're very similar to the ones that I've just shown you, and they are really, really pretty. I've got some quite large designs. So anybody who likes fairies would love this sticker book. colours on these are really stunning. This is a really gorgeous sticker book. It's always worth, when you're shopping Journalsay, picking up things like whiteout and glue. So I grabbed this double-sided sticky tape pack. You don't get much on the roll, but I do use it, so it will come in handy. This was another item I saw Nellie use in one of her unboxings. It's always handy to watch other people's Journalsay hauls. It helps you pick out things that you like, and these did catch my eye, and I know Nellie used them to make a spread. But they're all sorts of ribbons, but made out of card. So you get a couple of each design. I did like the plaid ones in particular. Definitely good for spring spreads. And then you get some more neutral ones and some very thin ones. So I thought those were rather nice, and they are stickers, I believe, although they look like they are just card. But let's have a go. Oh yes, they are. Yeah, they are stickers, so you don't even have to glue them on. So those look like a lot of fun. Next we have these Adventure Diary paper map stickers. They're a lot smaller than I would have liked, but I thought I could use them as little accents on pages in my reading journal, particularly if I'm doing a book that's fantasy, because they often have little maps in them. And they are stickers. And I think you get 10 different designs. There were lots you could choose from again, but I just chose 2. And as I bought the Archer and Olive Enchanted Chapters Treasure Map Journal, I also thought they would go in that. So before we look at the paper punch, I did pick up some inks because I wanted to try them out and I wasn't really sure about the quality. I mainly ink up the sky, but I know I'm going to be using some yellow for bee spreads, and I've got some dragon stamps that I want to use as silhouettes, so black is always useful to have. I also got this 6 colours combination ink because the colours looked so pretty. So we've got a black, a navy blue, a purple, a more denim blue, a green, and a more teal blue. So I'm going to grab some stamps from my collection, try them out and let you know how they did. I've got this little set from Lawn Fawn, which has got a bee and some words. I thought I could use that to test these out. I'll start with the black. I've got this bee mine. That's come out nice and clear. I'm going to clean it and try it on the yellow just to compare. I don't think I cleaned it that well because I can still see a tiny bit of grey ink showing, but the yellow does show through. Let's try an image. I'll start with the yellow one this time, with this heart. I'm not sure if I've even used this heart design before. Well, pretty happy with those results. The gold has got like a sheen to it, so I think it's going to look really nice in some bee themed spreads. They do these in so many different colours that you can pick whichever ones you like, and the other good thing about them is that they are stackable, so aren't going to take up too much room in your craft room. Now let's try the blue. It doesn't actually say on it what it is. I've actually been using my mum's inks, which she's had for years, and they have lasted a long time. I found a few had dried up, but I was amazed how long they actually lasted. So that's the colour. Let's do the word. That one looks a lot blurrier. I don't know whether it's the way I stamped it. I would say that these were definitely crisper images. What I would probably be using this for is for inking up the sky. And I got this brush from my last Journalsay haul, so I'll give this a go. Let's see. I think this is going to work well for the skies in my spreads. So very pleased with those. Now let's try the set of 6. It's nice that they come in this little tray and you can take them out and put them back, so you've got storage for your stamps. So I'm going to try the black one and compare it to the other black one. I'm not sure if these are meant to be more of a distressed look. There's not much between them, but I would say that this again is a little bit crisper, but it could have been the way that I stamped it. The current black ink I'm using is a Dewdrop Memento Tuxedo Black, which again is probably over 10 years old, but it's been doing me fine. So that's the black from this set, and I'll stamp out the others so you can see the difference. So those are all 6 colours. I did smudge the purple a little bit. I think the stamp was maybe a bit wet from when I'd cleaned it. I did notice that this ink stayed on the stamp a little bit more than the other inks I tried, so they were a little bit harder to clean. I think the colours on the boxes are quite a good representation of what you get. You can definitely see the difference between these 3 blues. And they are a lovely set to have, so I'm very happy with my stamps, and look out for more stamping from me in my journals this year if I can be brave. The last item is the stamp punch. This punch wasn't something that I needed because I do have scissors that have this stamp edge, so I can cut round a shape and make it look like a stamp. I also do have a punch that has just one side of the stamp edge, but it's quite tricky when you're going around all 4 edges to get the stamp looking accurate. And I thought some of you might be curious to see how this works because they are promoting it quite heavily at the moment. I got an email about it and it's been appearing a lot on Instagram. So I think you've got a little release catch there. So it does take up a bit of space, and that's always my word of warning when you are investing in punches. I have a whole box of punches and they do take up a bit of space. So it depends how much you're going to use them as to whether they are worth investing in. Now, some punches don't like thick card, some don't like very thin paper, so it's always a learning curve with a new punch. My tip would be never to force it. If it feels like it's not going to work, then don't push. I've got some regular photocopy paper here, just the very thin type, and that's fine. Let's try some slightly thicker paper, but not cardstock. And again, it seems fine with paper. You can of course use the part that you cut out from as well, rather than just the little stamp. Now, a little tip from me about making stamps, if you want to use them in your planner, is if you want to add a sticker to it, it doesn't actually look like a stamp, because if you think about a stamp, it has a colour. So what you are best doing is cutting yourself a little colour frame for inside and then adding the sticker, as I did in this planner spread here that I made a while ago. It does say on the packet that it's for paper from 80 to 500 grams. I don't know if GSM, which is what I'm familiar with, is the same as grams. I wouldn't think so, because 500 would be very, very thick card. Although it does say it's also suitable for package materials, cardboard, corrugated, balsa wood. And I can't see how it would do all those things, but they're not going to be materials I'm going to be working with anyway. But if anyone has got this punch and has used it with anything other than paper or card, do let me know. It has got recommendations for maintaining your punch, which most punch owners know, that you can sharpen your punch with aluminium foil if you punch that through, and if you want to lubricate the cutting mechanism, then get some wax paper and cut out through that. So if you have one of the hole punches and it's getting a bit stuck, those are some tips that you can use for that too. So now I need to go away, look at all the goodies I've got and decide what we're going to create today. It's actually the next day, because it took me a little while to look at all the things and decide what I wanted to do. But I thought I would try something new, which is why I'm using this Journalsay journal, where I try out lots of different things before doing them in my main creative journal. I'm going to be mainly using these fairy stickers, possibly bringing in the trees on the pet tape. But what I wanted to do was try a window through a window. I'm not quite sure what the proper name is, but I've done one window pages before, but this is going to be a double window where I cut 2 pages of my journal. Now the first window will be larger and then the second window will be a little bit smaller. And I know that I want to have this fairy sort of hanging at the top. So I don't want to cut the window right to the edge, and also because I need to leave room for some journaling, I don't want to cut the window right the whole size of the page. So I'll make it a little bit shorter so that I can have at least some journaling spots at the bottom. I'll probably have another fairy in the bottom corner. So I'm going to make some marks where I want to cut the window. I may not talk a lot during this video because I have to think when I'm trying something new, but you can grab a cup of tea or coffee and create along with me, or simply watch the process to get some ideas for your journal. So the first thing I'm doing is inking around the edges, just because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the edges. I could add washi to them, but I thought I would just add a little bit. A lot of this is going to get cut away. It just gives it a little bit of that fairy-like ethereal feel. So I'm going to cut away now. I was going to do a torn frame because I thought that would look more woodland and fairy-like, but I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet. It's definitely on my list of things to do. Just checking where I'm going up to. And I've realised I was supposed to stick the stickers before I did the cutting. So good thing I did this in my practice journal. It's not too late because I haven't cut this corner, so I can still add the girl here. Whenever you're doing something for the first time, it really is a learning curve. So she can still get stuck there, and then I can cut around her. Now, I've kind of, I don't know if I stick the sticker over there, it might cover the fact that I've cut the page. Which fairy do I want to use? One of the bigger ones, I think, because I want the images to get smaller as we go along. I think I'm going to try and stick that over and see how it goes. Try and make sure that she's well and truly stuck over where I cut the page to hold it together. So I will try and remember that for the next page that I make, not to cut until I've put the, I think the mat was underneath there, stickers on. Realised I should be using my swivel craft knife to do this rather than an X-Acto knife, but you can do it with an X-Acto knife. So that's page number 1, sort of. I haven't finished the rest of it. So I need to decide what stickers I want to put in here. I've got the little deer, which I think is really nice. In the corner. And maybe this butterfly, even though it is rather large. So now when I cut this frame, it needs to be smaller. So let's do some lines just to help me. And I'll ink this up as well, although I probably should have inked it up before I added the stickers, but there we go. And we'll cut the second frame. me. So I think we should have the house on the third page. Could bring in the trees, maybe behind the house. I might see if I've got some paler trees, because these are very bright. I've got this one, it is bright, but it goes a little bit better, I think. But what I'm going to do first, before I forget, is ink up this page. And I think I should make it a little bit darker, maybe bring in a green. I think probably the blue or green is going to contrast too much, so we'll stick with the gold. So now back to the tree, where I'm going to be putting that. I think here. And I want the house. So is that not sticking because I put the ink down? Let's try again. I have the house in the top corner. And I'd like one more fairy, maybe this one could go in front here. It's very tricky. There we go. I think maybe if I can find a quote, I'll add it there. I'm going to add the unicorn. Don't think it shows, so I think that's okay. I should probably ink this up a little bit first. There we go. Now I might be able to add a couple of things to these pages. I feel like this one is really pale compared to the other two. There's probably some sort of rule about you should have darker at the first, getting lighter, or lighter and then getting darker. Like you have the stickers small at the front, sorry, bigger at the front and getting smaller, but oh, I don't like that. But I've done it now. fairy just in the corner. Oh, the thing is, it's sticky, isn't it? So what I need to do is not peel her head off, if you understand. So what I'll do is I'll peel the backing off, but not where her head is. Let's see if that works. Yeah, so it's not sticky. I kind of want to put something there now because of that ink that I don't like. And I have to make sure I don't peel the backing off again. Okay, and what about the front page? So I'm going to look for a quote to go there now. In Amber Plans a Day's Explore More sticker book, I found Escape the Ordinary, and that seemed to fit. So because the ink has gone onto this page, I'm going to use some Planning washi just to put down the edge here and cover that up. You can usually cover any mistakes. I think I'll add it on the other side too. And then this side will mainly be journaling, but I'll add at least one image. I got this larger sticker from the Fairy Tale Elf sticker book. I think the colour matches. I'll probably add lines to those pages. Now, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the reverse. I did try and watch a couple of videos, but people didn't seem to do anything with the reverse of the pages. It would be very difficult to find stickers to fill them. Could have a quote there or something. I don't know. What would you advise? I'm wondering whether I should have inked those pages up as well and try to do something with them. Okay, so I've added all the mild liner lines, and I also decided to ink up these pages and add the lines to these. And then I thought I would add just a couple of stickers so they don't look so bare. So that one fits quite well. I'll have the little wing poking out, that's the only thing. So I'll make sure that I leave the backing on for that so that it doesn't stick to anything. I think that's quite straight. There we go. A little bit like Dutch doors, these do take quite a bit of thinking about. So that's that page. On this one I can use the butterfly because it's a symmetrical shape, so it will fit. And I don't think I'm going to worry about that corner. I might have something here. Maybe that. Doesn't really show too much behind her head there. This one is a tricky one. The only thing I could really find was in that elf book, this pipe. It doesn't show very much behind. And then I might draw a little frame around this page just because of this bare area here. It's not going to show when you look at it from this angle. I'm just not sure how well it will show up and whether it's okay to draw on over the top of the ink. Just felt that it needed something. I'm using the same zebra mould liner that I drew these lines with. I didn't do a great job drawing the lines, I have to say. Using my ruler. Just checking that's not going to show. No. But unfortunately, because I've got things in this journal that I've made, when you try using the ruler, you're not drawing on a flat surface. So it's very hard to keep anything straight. I like that a lot better. I did think about drawing little leaves, a little design around, but my drawing is not the best, so I think I will leave it at that. But I'm super happy with how it's turned out. It's really dreamy. It's definitely been a learning curve, but I think if I attempt this again, I will hopefully remember the things that I've learnt from it. And they are such pretty pages. So I must say a really big thank you to Journalsay for sending me all these lovely products to play with. For these pages, I've only managed to use the fairy stickers, the elf sticker book, the magical forest pre-cut pet tape, and of course the ink pad. But I'm looking forward to trying out all the other products in spreads on my channel very soon. Remember, you can save 8% on Journalsay with my code Julie8. And if you want to see more of me trying some creative ideas in my journal, then check out this playlist here where you can find all my videos, which include more window pages as well as horizontal and vertical Dutch doors. Do like, comment and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you'll join me for another video really soon.